Union Square Hospitality Group CEO Danny Meyer took the lead when announcing proof of vaccination will be required for employees and customers in his restaurants. In doing so, he's now wading into one of the more contentious debates, though, going on in the city when it comes to reopening the economy. And the famed restaurateur has a lot on his plate, literally, right now. In April, Mayor de Blasio named him as board chairman of the New York City Economic Development Corporation. He's also an advisor with a star-studded homecoming concert next month at Central Park. And Danny joining us tonight. Danny, great to have you with us.
Good to see you, Lori.
This had to be a tough decision for you to make, but it seems you have the support of Mayor de Blasio. He also seems to be talking about trying to do this for all restaurants. Give us your thoughts.
Well, actually, it's an easy decision to make if the question is, what is the right thing to do for the safety of your staff and of your guests? It's a hard decision to make if the question is, what's the easier path to take? I realize that we're facing a real shortage of talent and labor and workers in the city right now. I believe that's going to get a lot better once September comes along. But in the meantime, I'm just making a bet that when you do the right thing for your team and for your guests, it's actually going to increase the number of people who want to apply to work for you anyway, because it's a safer environment. And it should increase the number of people who want to dine with you as well.
You talk about the workforce. I mean, you have a conglomerate of restaurants. What about small restaurateurs here in the city requiring vaccinations? There's a fear this will financially kill them. I even saw David Burke said that he had to bring together, you know, a house worker and some other people to help with his restaurants.
I think that every restaurateur and every business needs to make their own choice. I'm not a governmental agency. I'm a business person, and as a business person, I experienced, just like our entire industry did, big restaurants, small restaurants, independent restaurants, whatever. We experienced the toughest year and a half of our entire business careers. And the reason I'm doing this, besides taking care of the safety of our people, is truly to set an example for our city. We cannot go back to closed restaurants. We cannot go back to dining rooms that have a limit of 25% capacity. So many restaurants will go out of business if that's the case. And so I really think that this is the smart thing to do. The other thing I would add, Lori, is that in a certain sense, smaller restaurants have fewer people they need to hire. So I wouldn't accept the argument that a smaller restaurant is at a disadvantage at this point.
Let's switch gears a little bit, talk about you being an advisor to the Central Park Homecoming Concert. Everyone is looking forward to this, some of the biggest names in music. But there has been some criticism, Danny, that the lineup, the age of the lineup of some of the entertainers isn't exactly going to attract younger people to get a vaccination. What are your thoughts? I mean, it's a dynamite lineup for someone my age.
Yeah, it's a dynamite lineup for someone my age as well. And I think that that's probably a fair comment to make. I think when you tap Clive Davis, who's one of the greatest impresarios of all time, and you realize that Clive Davis is not in his teens any longer, this lineup doesn't surprise me. But I think it's also important to look at the fact that every one of our 5 boroughs is going to get its own homecoming concert. And the spirit of this is not so much about listening to Bruce Springsteen or Jennifer Hudson or Earth, Wind & Fire, maybe people who I listen to. But I think the spirit is that for so many New Yorkers who may have left the city during quarantine and either are considering coming back or not, this is a reminder of why we love our city so much. Live audiences and live performances are what New York City's always been about, whether it's sports, Broadway, music, or restaurants. And I think this series in the 3rd week of August is going to be a fantastic reminder of why we love our own city.
Danny, you've always been a big advocate for this city and a pioneer, of course, in the restaurant business as well. And it's good to have you tonight on.
Thank you, Lori.
All right, take care.